Aloha, my name is David Ahia. I am the head coach for the Kamehameha Canoe Club on Oʻahu. I started paddling probably when I was around 10. Took a break after I graduated to go to college in the mainland. Came back, really got into the coaching aspect more than the racing, racing myself. So the grandfather actually started this canoe club back in the early 70s. And after he passed, my uncle took over, and now I am the third generation to take over in our family. I'm pretty sure Heilani Canoe Club is the oldest club on Oʻahu, or Waikiki Surf Club, which is the canoe club just about a quarter-mile up from us. It's the state sport. There are 2 associations on Oʻahu, and there's one on each island, on Kauai, Maui, Molokai, and the Big Island. I would, it's hard to say it is because surfing is very big in Hawaii. I would say if you're I would say surfing comes first, and a lot of surfers paddle, as well as a lot of paddlers surf. So there's competitions all year round. Right now we're in the pre-season distance races. So they're a long distance race which runs, I'm not sure of kilometers, but maybe between 5 to 12 miles. And then you go into the regatta races, which are sprints, which run from a quarter mile, half mile, probably like 400 meters. And then from there you go to long distance, which ends up with the Molokai race for the men and women. They race from the island of Molokai back to Oʻahu. And there's a number of races leading up to that race. No, there are clubs. There's a lot in California. There's some in Washington State. I believe there's one in Illinois. New York City holds a race every year where they race around the Statue of Liberty, and it's gaining popularity around the world. There's a big race every so many years called the World Sprints, and the following year there is the World Distance Championships. So it goes back and forth each year, where you get the best teams from around the world. I'm sure you can look up the history online better than I can explain it of how this all started. But no, like I said, I started paddling when I was 10. My grandfather started this club, so I've been kind of, it's just been part of the culture, for me at least. I have competed against Tahiti in the Molokai race. They are probably the best in the world for many years now. New Zealand is very good, Australia is very good. There's a lot of good teams on the mainland, but it seems like everyone's kind of taking note of what Tahiti does and trying to mimic what they do, their training, their commitment to the sport. So it's getting, even though I would say the canoe designs are headed that way to a point, but for the men's side, they're very good. A big race, the Molokai race, is a big, I guess it's one of the most popular races in the world. So for the past few years, Tahiti has pretty much dominated on the men's side. The women's side, there's a team from Hawaii that have won a lot of races. Back in, I want to say the 90s, the 80s, it kind of all went through the Hawaii clubs. And, I want to say once Tahiti really learned how to surf these canoes, they just took it to a new level. So it's very technical. You really have to, kind of read the ocean, what it's going to do. I wouldn't suggest, brand new people going out and trying to do canoe surfing. There are companies that take tourists out too. So if you ever want to experience it in Waikiki. Yeah, so our races for the summer, they run from 10 and under. All the way up to, it goes all the way up to 70 and older, or 75 now. I'm not sure how, these older paddlers, they, have a hard time competing with the 50s. So, they just keep making these new divisions going up. So, it's great to see the young kids, their grandparents racing. I myself coach the high school grade girls. So, there's a lot of and we have a high school season that also runs during December, January. So a lot of it's a state sport for the high schools. So they have a championship for that as well. You know, I want to say before I was born. So, you know, off the top of my head, I don't know when the first regatta race was held, but it's been going on at least before, sometime probably in the 70s, maybe the 60s. I could be wrong. Yeah. Oh, and yeah, you know, if it's, especially if you love the ocean and you really want to try it out, you know, it's a good workout, meet a lot of great people. It's a fun sport.